Here we have the Model 77 from Softube, and this is a fabulous recreation of, well, the CS80, the CS60 and the CS50, because of course they all used the same voices, with the CS80 effectively being two CS60s in a box. And this looks like a CS60. So where's the second row of voices? Oh, they're over here. So the CS80 had a few extra goodies on board, like weird patch memory and stuff, and we've got all the additions that the CS80 had over the CS60. So even though this looks like a CS60, it is actually a CS80. And it's just a wonderful sounding thing. Just playing some really simple chords here. Let's add a little bit of LFO to that filter. And this is adding it to both the filters, both the green and the red, the top row and the bottom row of voices. So it's adding it to this and to this, as is this filter cutoff here. Everything on the bottom row applies to both the top and the bottom. So if we add a little bit of resonance here, it's doing it to both. Oh God, it's so nice, isn't it? And if we open this expansion panel, get a few more controls. If we open the stereo spread, one voice on one side, one voice on the other. So the green is on the left and the red is on the right. Let's turn the VCF output up, there we go. So you can see how this bottom row acts as the control section for both top green and red voices. Let's do a bit of this ring mod, it's beautiful. Increase the speed, get some lovely... Oh, listen to that. And this ring module is where loads of the goodness lies. And also a lot of the LFOs that you hear in the presets, hidden in this ring modulator. Like this. I'll explain what's happening in a second, but I'm just enjoying playing it for a second. It's got a lovely reverb on this. And here we've got our aging, so our slot mode basically. How's that for a little intro track? So that patch was one of the presets. I've just edited it and saved it as an SC. If we click on this here, we can scroll through all the presets, and there's plenty in here, and there's plenty of ways of searching for them. Let's look at Space Sounds, Frogs from Saturn. Whoa, that's got some meat to it, hasn't it? Brass tones. Let's come back in here. And we know the CS80s and the like can do brass till the end of time. Come back in here. How about some lead tones? But there's so many different things in here, honestly. It's Euro lead. Let's try that. Big fat unison tone. Let's turn the release on both of them down. So without going through everything that we've got in here, there are absolutely tons of really nice sounds, and it's surprising how much you can get. And it's surprising how many you can get from such a simple synth architecture. So let's take a look at the architecture then and what each of these sections do. Let's just initialize things. So initialize the upper, initialize the lower. So this initializes everything on the top row, on the green and the red rows, but it doesn't initialize anything down here because this isn't either the upper or the lower. Everything on this bottom row applies to the whole thing. So as we saw in the intro, these filter sliders affect both voices, as does the ring modulator, the reverb, and the LFO. Okay, so upper or lower, we've got a blend on the left. So we'll just kick off with this. And if we look at the oscillators to start with, looks very similar to something like a Juno, doesn't it? We've got a selection of sawtooth or pulse, and that can be modulated manually or with its own LFO. So we've got a separate LFO for PWM here. Lovely big fat tones. We're not going through zero. But you can get asymmetrical things like this. And then this goes really quite fast. So lots of fun to be had with that when you're coming to make some special effects. Add the sawtooth as well, and then we've got noise. But we don't get a sub on there like you do on the 106, the 60 and the 6. Not comparing it to them, just might be something that you already know. So they're not the only sound sources. We also have over here a sine. So the oscillators go through the filter, but the sine doesn't go through the filter. Obviously, if you filter anything, you end up with a sine if you put a low pass on it at least. But this gives us a really nice effect, so you can have the sine and then things coming through that have been high passed. Actually, let's just bring that in there. I think this is the secret sauce to an awful lot of the tones you get out of this. Yes, it's got its discrete components on the oscillators and the like. But all this is stuff you can't do, and it gives it a really beautiful feel. Just add reverb to that. A bit of resonance. Gorgeous, isn't it? Let's turn it down a bit. So while I'm playing with all this, I am playing with the filter on. I will see what the filter does already. Let's take the sine out for now and just reset the filter. Take the reverb off, and let's also take the aging down. The sustain down here, as well as the glide, act on both of the voices as well. So there we go. Let's take that off. Okay, so low pass and resonance up on full. It's a really nice musical low pass, this, but doesn't go into self-oscillation. But we can add to the resonance down here with the performance resonance. And this also adjusts the cutoff frequency. And then we've got the high pass. Let's take the resonance off there. We can see that's also modulating the high pass. So between the low pass and the high pass and the resonances with those, we get these sort of band passy notch things and stuff. It's like just a really interesting configuration. And then obviously bringing in this sine as well. Create these lovely open sounds. Here we've got the envelope for the filter, and this is a bit weird. Luckily it's got this little graph to show you what's going on. But it's a bit weird as in, so this level here drops it below the cutoff frequency level, which is just a bit strange. But at the end of it, you still create ADSR style envelopes. We have a little bit more of an attack on there. So I think this configuration is because we've got this performance filter. I'm not sure why, but as I say, you can still get all the ADSR out of it. You've just got to look at what you're doing there. Actually, it makes it really simple having the graphic there. So this is the peak level, and this is the bass level, basically. So that effectively has or affects what would be the sustain level and the initial starting level. But it's so much easier to describe because it's got this graph. I think it was that, maybe it was the Arturia or something. I was doing a demo of that, and it was just so hard to describe without showing the graph. So very handy it's got it on there. And talking of envelopes, we've got a standard ADSR on the VCA. But the mixer in the VCA is the little trick here. And then we've got an independent level for each. And the second, or the lower voice, is identical. And these voices are the same as you get on the CS80. I just love this thing. So as I say, these voices are really quite simple, and then we come down to the functions at the bottom. We start off on the left, we've got fine and coarse pitch, and then we get to the LFO. And this can be synced to the door. We can modulate the VCO, the VCF, or the VCA, so the oscillator, the filter, or the amplifier, so each of these sections along the top. Let's modulate the filter. Take the door sync off, we can get a lot faster. Audio rate. I just can't believe how cool all these sounds are. Let's do it with the amplifier. Gorgeous, isn't it? Try it on the oscillator. Gentle that. So you're still retaining like the bass frequency, the bass pitch. Almost like adding noise, isn't it? It's beautiful. And we've got a few different waveforms there. Moving over then, we've got transpose. This isn't just octaves, we've got fifths, or 7 semitones is that. It's nice. As I particularly like a fifth, it's easy to set up on this. What have we got on this other voice? I've been playing with this for hours, and I have to confess, I did make another video of it, and I dropped the hard drive, so. So, this is probably a quicker run through than I was intending, which may not be a bad thing. Oh, did I mention the detune? I don't think I did, but... Then we've got the original patches. I won't click on them because I'm not a mad fan of dodgy 80s synth patches. But over here, we've got aftertouch to the LFO. So let's turn the filter up. Let's put it on. I am pressing the key harder, you might be able to hear. Speed up a bit. And you can hear it speeding up as well. So many ways of playing it. So expressive. You can see why it's popular. Let's put on the VCA as well. Yeah, so nice, and that's so easy to understand once you realise what's happening, and that the bottom row is affecting both the top rows, and we've got the two voices on the top. Stunning. Clever. Anyway, ring mod. So we've got a little envelope in the ring mod. So if we turn the modulation amount up, let's turn the speed down for now. But let's turn the speed up to make it really obvious and the depth up. So it will build in the modulation, then it'll drop it again. So if you just wanted to drop it, for example, for sort of falling effects. And as we saw earlier, you can almost make it sound like an LFO changing its rate. Then on the far right, we've got this reverb, which is just lovely. It's really simple, but works, doesn't it? Does give everything a really epic sound. And then aging, and this is your slop knob, so basically it detunes things, and you just bring all this down. You might notice as I hit the keys, things change. Tuning changes. You can hear the oscillators are different. I think the envelopes are different as well, so it just slops the whole thing up. Quite nice. Then we've got some additional controls in this expansion panel. Velocity to VCA, filter, keyboard track into VCA or the filter, so we can keyboard track on it. And then aftertouch the VCA or the filter. Pan spread, we've seen using that. It pans the layers left and right. And then we've got the voice count for unison and unison detune, followed by the pitch bend range. So just a few little extras there. So if we hit unison, let's take that release off again. Doesn't sound that unison-y because we don't have that many voices. And then let's add some detune. Let's do a big unison sweep. Let's put the envelope level on full. Let's really like the envelope amount. Decay on full. And then drop that, shall we? Or that doesn't matter. So you can hear we're not getting that huge amount of resonance on this. Above that, we've got these two interesting sustain modes. So this short to long here, this is controlling the short to long on both the VCAs at the same time. So it's still dependent on where you set it. But so if we bring this one down as well. And what I've noticed on this, in the manual it tells you exactly what's happening with voices and what voice is being played, but for me really, on number 1, when you press the second note, it's still playing the first. On 2, it stops playing the first. So if you wanted to do chords, for example, so a nice, I don't know, something like this, you'd use the voice sustain mode 2 so that they're not overlapping. In 1. So for me, that's what that does. Portamento and glissando. So portamento, glissando will play the notes. And I think that just about covers it, you know. And I think that sort of says what it sounds like. It is really nice. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to show you on it. I don't think so, but yeah, I really like this. It's got an awful lot of charm to it. When I started playing it, I thought it was really basic because I didn't quite get that it was actually a CS80 as well. And I did want to play it against my mate's CS60, but it's completely knackered at the minute, it needs recalibrating, so there wouldn't have been much point. But you can sit here for hours and just create all sorts of beautiful textures. I think it's great. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was of some use to somebody somewhere. If it was, please subscribe, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon. The channel is funded by affiliate links, YouTube ads, and my wonderful patrons, who, for the price of a dodgy coffee a month, get access to patches, samples, tutorials, and other goodies. And also do look at my starskycar.com website. Again, there's patches, samples, things to download, things you can buy. Always nice when you pick up some of the cheaper bits even. It does all help to support the channel. Anyway, thanks for staying to the very, very end. I really do hope that you enjoyed that. Do have a play with this. It is a beautiful sounding thing to get lost in. And I will see you next time.